So today I want to get in really quickly on some 3 key things I picked up on throughout my gardening career that I really wish I would have known when I started. I want to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart today on this one, so let's just jump right into it. Hey guys, I just want to jump in here real quick before we get too far into this video. I want to let you guys know that I am officially an affiliate for AC Infinity, a place where you can get all of your grow setup needs, from ventilation, dehumidifiers, lights, grow tents, you name it, you can probably find it on acinfinity.com. So if you go to acinfinity.com, next time you need to get a different grow light, or the next grow setup is calling your name, or you just need some replacement parts, or maybe a refillable carbon filter, go ahead and check out acinfinity.com and use promo code EXPRESS420 at checkout. That is acinfinity.com. Use promo code EXPRESS420 for 10% off at checkout. Thank you guys very much. Before getting into this video, I want to let you guys know that I am affiliated with SeedsmanSeeds.com. Yes, you can finally use a referral link down in the description below to get yourself some of the most top-notch genetics in the business. And I'm not going to show their website. We all know what they sell there. I'm not going to show any footage from their website because I want this video to have the least likelihood to get age restricted. But you can head over to Seedsman Seeds. You know the name, you know the game, you know the genetics. There's some big names and some things you have never heard of that look absolutely fantacular. We were looking at them on stream. If you want to go check out my last stream, you can go see what they got going on over there. But you can use the link in the description below, assuming YouTube doesn't absolutely obliterate this video for it being there. And you can go get a discount on some seeds and help out the channel. It would really mean a lot to me, and it would really mean a lot to your garden that you are putting good genetics in to get great product out. Thank you to Seedsman Seeds for being generous enough to give me an affiliate link, and back to the video. So after gardening with other people, gardening by myself, gardening completely on my own for a couple of years now, having so many different experiments under my belt and so many things that I've done, I've picked up on 3 key things I think that everyone should know when they start gardening. If you've never gardened before, or if you're doing these things and you don't realize you're making a mistake, or you do when you haven't stopped yet, these are the things that I would definitely put a thumb on and be like, this is something that I need to change in my garden. If it's something you're doing now, or if it's something you've done in the past, just realize it definitely was a mistake and you're good for changing it. So growing with friends is not a good idea. Everything I'm sure I'm going to cover has at least one exception to it, but in general, if you're growing our herb, especially the plant we all know and love, there are going to be things that you get into with your friends, with your crew, with your homies, with your posse, whatever you want to call them. If you're growing with common people who aren't into horticulture, who don't have any interest in understanding how the plant works, don't actually want to put in the effort to grow the medication itself, and they are simply supplying you with a space to grow if you don't have one, or something like that, or they only invest money and they don't invest their time and effort, they don't invest their care. It's going to be something they don't care about, and if you're growing at a different site, there's going to be things that your friends could probably get away with if they wanted to. If they're trying to go behind your back, have you put in all the effort, have you grow, do all of the things with the plant, put on all your time, care, effort, meticulous, scientific thinking into growing a plant, and they either take you for granted or don't help you at all with the overall process, it's most likely a bad call. I got into growing with my friends. The first grow I ever did, I ended up doing 100% of the work, and they didn't really have the flexibility to supply me with what I needed to grow quality plants. So we grew in a horrible environment. We got terrible plants out of it. And it was overall a pretty shit show, if I do say so myself. If I were to go back in time, I probably would have skipped right to growing at my home with my dad. But back then, I thought he had all of his space taken up, and he didn't really want to grow with me at the time. So I guess I would have reevaluated that situation. Don't grow with your friends, especially if they're not actually interested in horticulture. If you have someone who is guiding you in the process, or you have someone you want to teach the process along, they visit maybe once a week to get a lesson on a certain growing topic, and they are growing their own at the same time, that would be acceptable. But growing with a team of people, unless you are a company, or unless you guys are participating in a medical caregiver program, something like that. If you're both caregivers, it's one thing. If you're both employees to a place, it's another thing. But if it's just a common friend down the street who just wants to get smoke out of it, that's not going to be a quality partner in your endeavors, and they most likely, unfortunately, won't have your best interest in mind. It can definitely sour and potentially kill the relationship you had with that person. So I would think long and hard about growing with people, and then just the contaminants and everything, the high risk you're putting into it, you really have to think that situation through, and if it's going to be worth it, and if you can work with that person. So in short, just generally don't grow with your friends. Grow alone, or grow with someone who potentially lives in the same house as you, since they're not going to be pulling in any extra, and they can probably be relatively clean. But I'll leave that at that. Don't grow with your friends as a general rule. Everything in your garden needs to be separate and clean. All the growing spaces need to be cleaned and treated differently. All of the plants need to be clean, looked over, inspected. Everything that you're working with, all of the tools, all of the equipment, it needs to be clean at the end of every grow cycle, or during the grow cycles. Get a couple cleanings in. Lower the risk of contaminants. Properly clean your equipment so you're not spreading viruses or other problems to the plants. Make sure that your outdoor and indoor plants are treated completely separately. You're coming in perfectly clean into each. You're not mixing and matching contaminants, going from one garden to the other without cleaning in between, neutralizing pollen perhaps. All of these things that you need to pay attention to. Keep it separate, keep it clean. If there's one tent here and another tent there, that can be one thing, especially if they're in the same lung room. But if you have a breeding tent, and then you go across the entire house, entire property to get to a veg tent or a flower tent, and you bring pollen into that tent, you're going to contaminate it with pollen. You could potentially spread contamination of bugs, mold spores, all these things. So keep everything separate. Keep it clean. Make your regimen make sense for you when you're transferring from garden to garden. Either switch clothes, take a shower in between, whatever you need to do. But make sure everything is separate. Make sure everything is clean, and you'll run into very few garden issues that can come from getting dirty or getting contaminated. And the number 3 thing is good genetics are not a suggestion. This goes back to my first grow ever. I was growing probably inferior genetics, which is also partly why the plants probably didn't turn out as well as they could have. Now, they faced a lot of other issues, don't get me wrong, but these plants, they were just kind of bag seeds that we got from a guy who participated in a certain kind of market, I believe, or who was a caregiver, I wasn't sure, but he exchanged flour for money. We ended up getting these seeds for free from him, and I ended up growing them. And going from that to going directly to buying from reputable seed banks, reputable breeders who are creating quality genetics, it was a night and day difference. And then after that, when I actually started getting good at growing, it was another night and day difference when I started growing good weed. But I had to start with good genetics. Genetics will give you a certain amount of flexibility, but great genetics, those ones that are for beginners to grow, those ones that are easy to grow, that can push through practically everything, and still have good terpene profiles and good potencies. Those are going to be the genetics you want to look for, especially as a beginner. Reputable seed bank, quality, put up with a lot genetics that are potent and have good terpene profiles. You practically will not be able to go wrong. And as your growing gets better, those plants will in turn be 10 times better, 100 times better. But the ceiling is going to be a lot lower for those genetics if you don't start out with quality. So I recommend saving up a little bit of money, getting a pool of quality genetics. I would say start with 5 to 10 different cultivars if you're a beginner. You're interested in it, you've been smoking it for a while. If you're completely new to gardening in general and you want to get into this herb, I would say just find a genetic that fits what you might be looking for in a plant. Get 3 to 10 seeds and start from that point on. Take clones of that genetic, see if you like it, test the water, branch out, buy different genetics, and just take it from there. Your gardening journey is hopefully going to be a very long span of time. It's something you're going to be putting a lot of effort into. It's something you're going to experiment with over time. Just make sure that the genetics you have in your garden are on close to the tip of the iceberg or at the top of the pyramid as you can get. Those are just the go-tos you want to have. And genetics, while they are relatively expensive, if you just buy a good pack, it's going to be treating you much better than a shitty pack of 10 or a shitty pack of 15 that costs you $2 or nothing. So just invest in proper stuff and make sure you actually have a good foot forward when you're getting into the garden. So I think that about covers it. The 3 main things that I would have been a lot better in the beginning if I knew these things. So take these tips and use them in your garden, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much.